Alright, well here's my aquaponics system. I took a brief video of this earlier. I mean a couple months ago. And I told you that I was going to make another video once things are kind of growing and I'm producing a lot more. Well, here's that video. The bed's kind of gone under a few changes. The primary change that I did was what they call a bell siphon. You can see right here that drain, and then this drain right here. There was three of them actually in the center, and the water would flood the bed, and it would just drain out. So there'd be a continuous water level up here, and it was working okay. But I had a tomato plant, actually a couple plants, that were suffering from root rot because the water level was too high, and it just caused it to rot. So if my friend Noah, that introduced me to the aquaponics system to start with, came to find out that a bell siphon system works a little bit better. Basically what it is as you can tell, I have continuous water flow into the bed, just like I did before. But the main difference is now I have a bell siphon. Basically what it does is it fills up to a point there. See that white drain? It fills up to that point, and it creates a vacuum once it starts to drain. When it creates a vacuum, it will suck all the water out down to the bottom, down to this tube right here. Once it gets down to the bottom of that tube, it breaks siphon, and it'll fill back up. So, and it does it maybe about I want to say 3 times an hour, where it fills up, drains out, fills up, drains out. And he suggests that maybe mine does that a little too often, but I think it's working out just fine. Since introducing the bell siphon, I've had an explosion of growth. What it does is when the water is draining out, it pulls the oxygen down into the rocks and into the roots of the plants. And if you can see it here, I don't really have any more root rot on any of the plants, and everything is going really well. My fish pond, you can't really see them too well. You can see the koi maybe. I don't know if you can see them here. There's some of the tilapia. I have probably about 200. We had some adult ones that had a school or two of fish. So now I have probably about 200 to 300 fish in here. As far as the koi and goldfish, I maybe have 20 of those, but anyways, their emulsion, or their shit basically, is what I use to fertilize the aquaponics. It gets pumped up over here. I have one pump here that pumps into the bed, and then it drains out with that white tube there. I had to kind of play with the drain on there. There was some physics involved, and it would drain out completely, and it wouldn't break the siphon, so it would, it would drain all the time, and it wouldn't stop, so my bed wasn't filling back up, and there was some physics behind it. I won't get into details. And the other thing too I was having a problem with is, I don't know if you guys remember the bottle brush trees I had on either side of the waterfall. One of my dogs, I believe, chased an animal up there and it knocked it over, so I cut the trees down, the bottle brush trees, and then that introduced a high amount of sun to the pond, and at the time the pond didn't have any of these plants, and I had an explosion of algae growth, and so you couldn't really see anything. Now, it didn't really bother anything. In fact, it actually, the algae provided another food source for the fish, so I didn't have to feed them as much, but it just didn't look pretty. And so since then, I've introduced a lot of plants to the system, and that has really cleared everything up. I don't know if you can kind of see this koi a little bit, kind of floating around there. Maybe you see a tilapia or two over here, I don't know. they're grayish. They're at the bottom, so they're kind of hard to see, but there's a couple hundred of them at least. But anyways, I just wanted to show you, or make that video because I told you I would, and I try to be a man of my word most of the time. Well, yeah, most of the time. But anyways, we have, I think it's a beefsteak tomato, cherry tomato. We got red, green, and yellow bell pepper. We have jalapeno, habanero, zucchini, asparagus, onions, as you can see. These right here are spinach. I just planted seed. These are kale, I believe. We don't really know what that long one was. We don't really remember. It was in my my standard bed over there. I just took it out and put it in there. I don't really know what the hell it was, but it's growing, whatever it is. And we have 4 watermelon plants. Now these, some of the plants that we planted in here, we bought already kind of pre-grown from the from Lowe's. And what you want to do is you actually want to knock out as much dirt as possible, especially if they have things in there of fertilizers. So you really want to kind of get those out because you don't want fertilizer. See, there it goes right there. You see it's draining, and it'll drain out completely, and then it'll break siphon and the bed will fill back up. And that's basically what it does. Anyways, you want to get all the dirt and anything that maybe that they put in the soil out. Now you will notice that when you put the plants in there, you can see here, this is when you first plant them, they're going to look like they're going to die. They wilt down almost completely, and everything appears to die, but then they come back really strong, as you can see here. These are all new. This is the remains when I first planted them, and you can also see it in the cherry tomato when I transplanted it. The bell peppers, these guys right here, didn't really wilt at all actually when I transplanted them. I had 9 plants that I bought from Lowe's that I transplanted all at the same time and knocked all the dirt out of them. The only ones that really went through a lot of shock were these guys, the beefsteak tomato and the cherry tomato, but they came back. And so, you know, I just wanted to show you that, hey, the system works. It's a great idea. Eventually I want to go larger scale, and what I was told by a pro that's done this for a very long time, she's got a lot of knowledge. Her name is Bonnie. I don't remember her last name, but she suggested that I would need about 6 or 8 of these beds to filter a pond that size. I have about a 1,500 gallon pond, and she suggests that maybe I have 1 fish per gallon. A little excessive to me, but yeah, what do I know, right? Anyways, upon that size, you definitely would want some more filters, beds. This bed itself is a biological filter. I do plan on making more because I have more room down there. I could probably make 2 more, give me 3 beds. But for now, you know, this is kind of an experiment, try to see how it was going. And you can see the growth here. It's just the growth is outrageous. So the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that has helped was my expansion of my fish collection. The more fish you have, the more poo you have, and the more food the plants have. So in a nutshell, that's my system. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up or contact my friend Noah. He's on my friend's page. You know, he's busy, so if he doesn't get back to you right away, he will. So, all right, folks.